held marches and meetings in support of IRA. There would be no weakness from a National Front government. There will be no double standards from a National Front government. There will be no appeasement from a National Front government. There will be no capitulation in the face of terror from a National Front government. The message is so incredibly simple. Britain declares war on those who declare war on Britain. Thank you. To most of us on the mainland, terrorism is simply something we read in the newspapers. It's something we see every night on television. It's not something that most of us here in London actually suffer personally. Very few in London actually have lost a relative, lost workmates, lost any friends to terrorism. Sadly for our next speaker, this is not the case. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give a warm welcome to Mr. David Seawright, brother of the murdered loyalist politician George Seawright. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would just like to start by saying that as parents of I know what the families of Lisburn, of the families, of the people who died in Lisburn is going through. A heartfelt sorry goes out to them. They were brutally murdered in the streets of Lisburn by the Provisional IRA, and I mean brutally murdered. This synthetic explosive they used came from Libya's Gadafi. I want to make a point about that. It came from Libya's Gadafi. And the amount of books will camouflage this. No amount of reading green books will camouflage this. Therefore, it is the duty of the National Front to unequivocally condemn terrorism in any shape or form, because when it comes to your door, my God, it hurts, and it hurts badly. So we must take power. We must. In that way, we can erode terrorism from the shores of Ulster, from the shores of all of Great Britain. It's no use sending fleets out to Falklands without fighting about Fermanagh. This government has totally and utterly neglected Ulster and neglected terrorism in this mainland as well. It's about time this government got their act together and started fighting back, because it's British soldiers, British policemen and British citizens that's getting the bullets in the back. And we must start to fight back. I'll hand you back to the next speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker was the Paul Nash of Haringey National Front. Thank you.
Thank you.
There can be few right-thinking Britons whose blood did not boil at the sight of a motley collection of Arabs walking free after murdering a British woman police constable on the streets of London. These vermin trooped out of the Libyan People's Bureau, a building once known as the Libyan Embassy. The name change was one of many edicts of the leader of that country, Colonel Muammar al-Gadafi. Let's have a close look at the man Gadafi. He seized power in 1969 after a coup removed the pro-British king. One of his first moves was to kick out the British bases at Tobruk and El Aden. 2 years later, he nationalised the Libyan holdings of BP. He further attacked British interests by intervening in the 1972 disputes between Britain and Malta over British bases there, offering support for the Mintoff government against Britain. This led to the sight of Royal Marines leaving the George Cross Island to the accompaniment of burning Union Jacks. In June of that year, he declared, "We are making war on Great Britain, and if the Irish revolutionaries want to liberate Ireland, we will back them to the hilt." A year later, a ship loaded with Libyan arms, with Irish Republican leader Joe Cahill on board, was seized off the Irish coast. Libyan aid to Ireland has continued. A cache of arms in boxes marked Libyan Armed Forces was discovered in the Irish Republic in January 1986. Last year, another boatload with mortars, machine guns, anti-aircraft missiles and guns was intercepted. Intelligence sources believe that 3 other boats have got through. Not only has Gadafi shown himself to be a dangerous anti-British fanatic, he's also a crackpot political thinker as well. He's written the Green Book, which expands the doctrine of the third universal theory, a third way between capitalism and communism. This idea has seized the imagination of some in this country who once termed themselves British nationalists. These people, the Kensington man, have embraced Gaddafi's thinking as only the fanatical devotee can. Close examination of Libyan actions reveals, however, that whatever Gadafi may say or write in his Green Book, he does not in reality pursue a third position. Despite the unspeakability of America, this has not stopped Gadafi from exporting a third of his oil production to them. Despite his rejection of Marxism, by mid-1981, most Libyan armies came from the USSR. He was in receipt of Soviet supplies, and the Soviet Navy had access to Libyan naval facilities. An enormous tank force of 2,500 tanks is maintained in Soviet storage. A splendid air arsenal of 350 French and Soviet aircraft must rely on Soviet and North Korean pilots. Not surprisingly, Libya has been accused of being closely allied to the USSR. Gaddafi has been at great pains to deny this, especially during his invasion of Chad. He said, all the war and administration effort was by the Libyan armed forces and people. And not even Washington seriously believed that there had been Russian involvement. In fact, all Soviet bloc media gave their support to Libyan intervention in Chad to restore peace. The proposed merger of the two countries was sympathetically reported. The truth of the matter is that Gaddafi is a pale copy of the imperialist he loved to attack. This is why a country of 3 to 4 million people needs Gaddafi dreams of a Saharan empire, and his endless array of weaponry fuels his fantasies. He's tried to merge Libya with Egypt, Syria, Tunisia. He's tried to organise coups in the Sudan, Ghana and Morocco. He's invaded Chad. His fanatical guerrillas, a bit fun. So much for the country where, for the first time in history, rulers have handed power over to the people. British nationalists have nothing to learn from a tin pot third world dictator who 100 years ago would have trembled at the sight of a British gunboat. The National Front is anti-communist and anti-capitalist. It is also racial nationalist. It exists to promote British racial nationalism and not the rantings of the mad colonel of Timbuktu. Thank you.
Before we go any further, I'd like to thank those who made a particular effort to come here, particularly those who've travelled a long distance, who've come down from Glasgow, come down from Leeds, come up from Devon, who've put themselves out. I've been asked to give a special thanks to Sid from Birmingham, who I gather has come on the march, although he's 69 today or thereabouts. Hope I've got that right. And now for the bad news. Just before he tries to run away or slip off or hide behind the corner, Mr. Ian Anderson, the National Activities Organiser, is going to take a collection. Thank you.
Opponent said to us, "You're finished. The National Front is dead. That's it. You might as well all pack up and cut your own throats, because you're dead. That means the British people are dead, and the blacks are going to take over this country." Well, they said we'd never march in London again. Today, we proved them wrong. This may not be the biggest march the National Front has ever held, but it does show once and for all that the National Front is back. The National Front is united now, as it has never been before. We know what we're fighting for. The National Front is united, it's strong,